Sussman gets off and the January 6th theater has begun. But then again, so has Pride Month. It's a real drag. Our leaders are sending guns to other countries and they're trying to figure out how to get the guns out of our hands. Ain't gonna happen. Gas has doubled in 18 months and there's no signs of it stopping. Obamacare premiums to spike 53% and there's another Clinton suicide, y'all. Elon thinking about backing out of his deal with Twitter because there's just too many bots. Queen Elizabeth is now the longest reigning monarch ever. 70 years on the throne. What an incredible woman. Paul Pelosi gets all charges dropped on his DUI and a man has attempted to assassinate Justice Kavanaugh. Northwestern University has accidentally created overly aggressive mutant hamsters. Michael Avenatti loses, Johnny Depp wins, and a bee is now a fish. I'm Mimi. This is The Rundown. Get ready for Politics Plus podcast. Here we go.
We are joined today by Michelle, one of our good friends, another person that we met via Instagram. And today we're going to get to know her a little better, talk politics, talk personal, talk Florida, talk everything in between. Before we get started on this amazing interview, we ask everybody to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And make sure that you share this video with any friends who may want to get to know us as well. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter, iTunes, Spotify, Rumble, Amazon Music, Audible, Anchor, and all of those links are located in our About page on YouTube right there for you. Let's get into this. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Macy.
How you doing?
I'm so good and excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So obviously we know each other, and then we also have Mark and Mel.
Yes. Hi, Mark and Mel.
Hi. Nice to see you.
You too.
Let's say we have a celebrity on our show today.
Hardly.
All right. So basically, we came to know each other on Instagram, and you have this, obviously, you do our intro, and we are fortunate enough to have you for that. But this week, we really wanted to get you as part of the conversation. So we obviously want to get to know a little bit about you, but for the people that don't know about you, we definitely want to send them your way. So tell us about your Anna Mimi Minute channel on Instagram and Rumble.
I do every day. I usually try to upload it around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I give you the news in less than 60 seconds, and I use fun, flirty filters to do it with.
Glad you said that, Michelle. That kind of leads up to my first question for you. I think you're absolutely stunningly beautiful. So I'm wondering,
that's not a question.
Why? I'm getting there. I'm curious why all the filters? Because you should just be you.
Why
the filters? I think you look lovely no matter what. So.
It's a lot of work, and I do it so early in the morning because if anything broke overnight, I want to make sure to include that in my minute. So I could be doing last-minute notes at 5 o'clock in the morning and then getting the minute memorized and filmed and then uploaded and tagged and everything and shared on all of my platforms. So that's just early to do the whole makeup and hair every morning, and filters are so dang easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's definitely a nice
I'm lazy.
I don't dislike it. I'm
lazy.
Love the ones when you actually are all, you dolled up nice. But I do have a question for you about your nationality because when I saw your live with Macy a while back, I think you were pretty natural in that one. Not a whole or anything. I was just wondering, what is your nationality? Do I get a little bit of Native American in you at all?
You do. On my
Indian?
father's side is Native American, and then on my mother's side, I have a strong Turkish presence from my grandmother. Oh. So I have a lot of Eastern European blood. So you get that olive skin and the high cheekbones, and yeah.
And you get this Melania lookalike.
I'm not.
Do you get that a lot?
I think it's a
You
mission.
can call me Melania all day long.
Do people actually call
You're
you
like
that?
the only Trump I haven't met.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I get told I look like her a lot.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. All right. So what drove you to create the Anna Mimi Minute page? Because it's so perfect the way that you're able to, in a fun, sort of joking, but very serious manner, like you say what's actually going on, from a very conservative standpoint. And whether you're conservative or not conservative, it is a very fun way to get your facts. And, and I love the way that you use it in a way that people still have to go do their homework. Like you say something, but that's a headline reader. We have a lot of headline readers and they get caught by the headlines. So you give people the headlines and that makes them go, wait, did that really happen? And they go look for it, which is such a great thing. But what gave you the idea to get started doing something like this?
I was bored. It was during the pandemic and I was out on the farm one morning and I always like to pray when I'm out on the farm, when I'm with the horses and I'm in nature and it's just me and God out there. And I'm like, I need something. I'm really bored. Give me something. Give me an idea. Let's spark some inspiration. And I don't know. It just came to me. And I just thought, Anna Mimi Minute. Well, because I study all day long anyway, what's going on in the news, and I used to post every little thing, and I'm like, why don't I just put it all together in a minute, and then just make it fun, and it seems to be doing pretty well. People like it, and people do say, whoa, that happened, and then they have to go find out the facts for themselves, because the mainstream media is not going to tell them. I like doing it and I have a real passion for it. And I think whenever anybody has a passion for something that they do, it's going to come across differently.
Agreed. What were you going to say, Mark?
Well, I was going to say that I have not watched a whole lot of news in the last 10 days or so. So it's fun to go on and catch Mimi on her minute because I get the actual rundown of what's current. And it's very entertaining. So,
because I listen to sources who know what is going on.
I understand you like Tucker too. Is that right?
I like Tucker. I don't follow Tucker as closely as some of the other people that I follow because he's on Fox, and I really just don't bother with Fox.
Yeah.
Funny that you say that because one of my questions is, I noticed that you have met a lot of people, and I wanted to know which are the top 3 people that you have seen and met that have pretty much made like an impact.
Well, obviously Donald J. Trump, Mr. Trump, and President Trump. I met him both. 2 more. Tucker was great. I did meet Tucker and spent some time with him, talking to him, and he was really great. And one more.
I like Tucker.
Gosh. I don't know who another one would be right now. I've met so many people, I can't think of anybody right now. But Donald Trump Jr. is wonderful too, and I've spent some time with him. They're just very authentic people, the Trumps. They really are. Anybody that I've ever met in the Trump universe that have worked with Trumps or that currently work with Trumps, they're all genuine people, and they've just been nothing but kind to me. And Trump is who he is. He's exactly the person you see on TV. You know, he did the whole look up and down when he met me for the first time. I'm like, well, you're welcome on, Mr. Trump, you know. Go ahead and flirt on, you know.
I think you,
it.
All right. So obviously you are a conservative and you are very open and honest about that. You don't deny it. And I think that ever since the election, the end of your minute has changed a little bit. And so instead of your previous phrase, you now close with
a quote.
A quote.
Whether it be a Bible verse or a historical quote. Every now and then I throw a fun quote in. Earlier this week I did a Nicole Arbor quote. So that was just kind of a fun, off the beaten path quote. But it used to be, you know, 2 genders, 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 terms. Donald Trump is still your president. We haven't gotten that second term yet.
No.
But when we get our second term, we might change things around again.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about the Bible verse?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about people who say they believe in God and yet don't believe that the Bible is necessarily the Word of God. In other words, they believe there's a God, they pray now and then, and so on, but they don't necessarily think that the Bible is the Word of God.
Well, they're just fake
think that's
Christians,
odd?
or fake Jews, or whatever you want to call it. They're just fake. They're posers.
Yeah.
Because you either believe or you don't. You know,
I was
that's
curious
called
about that.
hypocrisy. You know, oh ye doubting Thomas. You can't. You either believe in it or you don't. You believe in God and you believe in the Word of God.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I'm sure it has something to do with, when God talks about being lukewarm.
Yeah.
I have to wonder if you're even warm at all if you believe in God, but yet you don't believe that the Bible is His Word. So
well, I don't think anybody that's a Democrat can be a Christian.
Well, you and Mark have that in
I'm glad
common.
you said that. I've said that so many times, and I'll go up against anybody with that one.
Well, because I hear good Christians. Everything that's in our Constitution.
Yeah.
And our Constitution is based upon the Ten Commandments and the Torah. So why would you question it? You know,
The Constitution was also written by the
country and the Constitution. The Constitution is based on the Bible. Period.
The Constitution is also written, and the Declaration and all of this was all done by men that were not necessarily Christians, that may have believed differently. That okay, regardless, being part of the conversation, everybody here believes in the Bible other than me. So, we sit here and that's fine. We can agree to disagree, but there were still, even though we were the minority, there were people that didn't necessarily believe in the values, but saw through at the moral foundation that was so important to put into the document and agreed to sign their name to it. And I think that there's something to be said for that even if you don't believe in the Bible, that doesn't mean, or even not believe in the Bible, but even if you don't adhere to the Bible, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are morally bankrupt.
Yeah.
I guess is my point.
So this is going to go a little bit off topic now.
Good. Let's go in another direction.
Yes. I wanted to know what made you get involved in politics, and what made you get involved in the Martin Hyde campaign?
I know Martin for years. He used to come into the salon that I worked at, and just a friendship's built up among the years. I helped him with the city commissioner campaign. That kind of flopped. And then I've been helping him with this campaign. It kind of flopped. The Tucker Carlson interview kind of saved our campaign. So now we're about to go hard against Vern Buchanan, which is our rhino here in Florida 16. Our districts have just been redistricted, so I am no longer 16. I'm 17, so I can't even vote for him now.
Oh,
but
wow.
It kind of puts him and Vern on a kind of same path, because now they're having to campaign in districts that they don't live in and that they're not familiar with. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Trump has endorsed Vern Buchanan, so another poor endorsement by Donald Trump, even though he also endorsed Kevin McCarthy. Boo. What got me involved in politics, really hardcore, was Donald Trump. Meeting him in 2015 at a GOP Man of the Year event here in Sarasota. Literally ran right into him. And just kind of got excited about him. I've always loved Trump. I've always followed the Trumps, loved Ivanka. We were both teenage models, so we kind of had that in common. And then just the campaign kicked off. I got involved with Turning Point USA. I got involved with the Trump campaign, the Women for Trump. And it was just gung-ho from there. And it was just such a high. And the best 5 years of my life, going back and forth to D.C. and the White House and seeing Trump and being with the Trumps and getting involved with the Turning Point events and just meeting so many people that I looked up to and respected. And now those 5 years are over. So all the way down from one high to a low. But we're going to come back in 24.
So I love your perspective on that, because you describe getting involved in politics as almost intoxicating, once you, and it really is, because
adrenaline rush.
It's such an adrenaline rush. And like when you go to your first protest or you go to your first rally, Trump rally was like a huge eye opener for me, because it's like you stand in line for all these hours and like people in front of you with backpack coolers are like, oh honey, do you need a water? Like I've got bags of nuts. You want some nuts? And you're just like,
no, it's like real America.
Yes, and it's you talk to these people that are here because they're so passionate about the subject matter.
Yeah.
So there are, on the other hand, a lot of people that are not passionate about the subject matter. So how has your openness about your policies and politics and, you know, your minute and everything like that, has that affected your, I know that you're a hairstylist, so has that affected
Everything.
your clientele, your friends, your family?
Work took a major hit. I probably lost 60% of my clientele just because I was associated with Trump. And then I probably lost another 10 to 15% because I wasn't requiring mask wearing. So a lot of my clientele were nurses and teachers, and those are the people that left me. Government workers, you know, people who have bought into the propaganda and the brainwashing of it all. But I have gained more clients that are more conservative and that like my views and that are like-minded. I lost a lot of friends too, but they really weren't my friends. So it's like, whatever. I've gained more than I've lost, and I really don't care because I'm standing in truth, not in my truth, but in truth.
I'd much rather work with people of a like mind than the other side anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's just time we start creating our own, like, our universe. Like, let them have their economy, we'll have our economy. You know, we'll go support fellow conservatives and let them support fellow liberals, and we'll see who wins this game.
So where do you stand on secession?
Where do I stand on what?
Secession.
Secession? I don't know. I really don't.
Because that's what it sounds like. That's what you're saying sounds like.
I know, but having a parallel economy and actually having a national divorce, it's two different things. I mean, that's something to really think about. We're the United States of America. Unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to be truly united ever again.
And that's a scary feeling.
I mean, but it does come down to states' law trump federal law, period. So move to the state that you want to support, you know?
Exactly.
You have to wonder how long it would take, though, if you had two separate, you know, if you had Republican states and Democrat states, how long would it take for those Democrat states to melt down completely to where they're bleeding into the red states and ruin the red states because they can't.
I mean, California was raised.
Yeah, we said they can't sustain themselves.
Look how fast it's happened.
Yep. Yep. It's terrible.
San Francisco.
So in other words, even though it would be 95%. Yeah.
And that's what happens with
even though it would be nice to have your own state.
Yeah.
Your own thing, you know, your own red state. You have to realize that it won't be very long before the blue states ruin everybody.
Well, that's what I said in my
on.
minute this morning. If you go back and watch today's minute, you'll see the red states are flourishing and the blue states are crumbling. You do the math.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And they'll blame us. They'll still blame Republicans for their crumbling. That's the sad thing about this whole thing. We're not going to get out of this without being blamed. Yeah. But but with the media the way it is, we are going to look bad no matter how you slice it. Yep.
Yeah. The media and our leaders are the enemy of we the people.
That's right.
So earlier on, we were having conversation about, you know, your two accounts, you know, what should we call you? Should we call you Mimi or Michelle? My question is, let's say, if you were to get canceled in all platforms, what would you be doing if you wouldn't be able to do this, what you're doing now?
If I was canceled off of all social media?
Yeah.
God, I don't know. I was going to get an oxygen tank or something.
I'm addicted.
I don't know. If I couldn't like use my voice, I don't know. I mean, I haven't done this without technology, so I don't know what I would do except just do more volunteer work locally. Mm-hmm. You know, that would be probably my only option because I'm not running for office because I ain't got it like that financially.
Why not? Why not?
And I don't want to argue with them. I just want to do my own thing. I don't want to do
maybe Trump will back you up.
Yeah. Canceled off of Instagram. They have canceled my account and I had to fight to get it back, but it's never been the same since. So it's so shadow banned and censored. It's just kind of dead in the water.
Well, the only reason why I asked is because everybody, there's people that have been getting canceled left and right. So just wanted to ask.
That's one of Martin Hyde's hashtags is cancel culture.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what if
what we're saying is so wrong, then let us be wrong.
Exactly.
What are you worried about?
That's
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
You just have to know your facts. And if they refuse to listen, then they're brainwashed. I mean, you can tell a brainwashed person facts all day long. They're going to refuse to believe it. Because if MSM tells them that the sky is green, they will argue with you until their death that it's not blue. I just choose not to argue. Like, okay, fine. You believe what you believe. I have a Democrat client. She is hardcore Democrat. We like each other. So she has remained when everybody else has left. We just don't cross the political Rubicon. We just don't go there, But every now and then we fall into it. And I talk to her the way I'm talking to you. And she's the one that gets, and I just want to be like, well, why can't we have I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. Trump's going to prison. I'm like, but I didn't even talk about Trump. I'm just bringing him up, and I don't understand why we can't have a conversation, because when you lose conversation, there's nothing left but violence.
exactly?
And she gets so in a tizzy, and I'm like, you have to be so in a tizzy because you know you're living a lie. Because happy people who stand in truth don't behave like this. They just don't.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because we're calm and we're collected in the word. Like, we know the end of this.
We've had a discussion of this recently, Michelle, where I think it's important to actually point out the people who are perpetrating the crimes that are going on in America, as far as school shootings, grocery store shootings, attempts on Brett Kavanaugh's life. If we actually started highlighting the people that are behind these crimes, even liberals would start to want to understand why things are going the way they're going, and why things are going the direction we're going in as a country.
They don't want to hear it.
But because
they don't want to hear it.
It's okay if they don't want to hear it, but and I understand that. But if we actually started highlighting these things, even people who are diehard blue Democrats would actually start to think, maybe he's right. This guy really was a Democrat that shot all these kids. The guy that went down to New York and shot all the people in the grocery store.
But they're not
he was
talking
a liberal
about it.
But
they just refused. Are we
that's
talking?
right.
Like, the Democrats
That's
just
right.
blocked a bill to protect Supreme Court justices. They don't care.
Yeah.
They want Justice
I'm
Kavanaugh
just
to be
passionate.
taken out. I guarantee you, they want him gone so they get another pick. They want him gone. They don't want to protect him.
I think that's why they leaked the Roe
Exactly.
versus Wade.
Exactly.
But that's another topic.
I have a question
for
for
another
you,
day.
though, that came from our producer, Michelle.
Shoot.
If you had, this is from Danny. If you had to debate an elite liberal, who would you want to bring with you to debate with you? Who would you like to have with you to debate someone that's that powerful?
Decide who I'll bring.
Well, let's just say Chuck Schumer, or who's the little who do we call Turtle Man and Nadler, or huh?
Oh,
Is it Jerry Nadler?
Jerry
Is that his
Nadler.
name? How about Maxine
Somebody
Waters?
to
If you
eat
had
a Tucker for that.
oh, totally,
Yeah.
that'd be good. That's a good one. I like Tucker.
Tucker for them. Give me somebody higher up. Maybe I would take somebody like Mark Levin.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Michelle. The question was an elite liberal, so someone like maybe Matthew McConaughey, who just spoke at the White House.
Oh, I could take him on by myself.
Did I not say that? That's a great answer.
I don't need any backup for that. I'm good.
So, I'm going to re-ask
I
that
would
question.
bring Mark Levin because he's just the great one and can just touch on anything constitutionally.
And you sort of tapped on this earlier, and I want to go back to it. You were talking about, being outside and being with the horses. And I want to kind of touch on, because we are a show about politics plus so much more, and I want to know about the more of Mimi. So how do you recharge? How do you just, when you step away, how do you recharge it?
I bike and I walk the beach. Those are my two favorite things to do. I walked the beach the other day on my birthday, and I have a trail here that I can bike like 19 plus miles. Or sometimes I bike out to the beach because it's only 4 miles from my house. But I get at least 5 miles a day on my bike, and I try to get at least 2 miles a week at the beach.
Nice.
Yeah, just being outside,
Perks of living in Florida, right?
Things aren't 100% legal here in Florida, but I still enjoy some things from time to time.
Agreed.
I had a similar question. I just wanted to ask, what are your hobbies?
I love work. That is my hobby. Like, I love doing hair. I love when my girls come in and then they leave and they're so happy because they love their hair and I just made their day. I love studying and listening to podcasts and learning more about our Constitution and our country. I want to know what is going on. I've been asleep for so many years in my youth, when I followed pop culture and I cared who was at the Grammys and who was at the MTV Awards and I watched the Oscars and I cared. I don't care at all anymore. Like, it's just rubbish. It's garbage. I see them for who the court jesters that they are. They're just pawns and slaves to the elite, told to read a script. And I wasted too much time and money on that. And it's time to look forward into real, actual things that affect my life and my bank account.
True.
Especially the bank account.
Especially the bank account.
Especially the bank account.
Okay, so we know that you want Trump to run again. Okay. Way better than the current situation that we're looking at. Okay, just saying, we're just going to put that out there. Whether you like Trump or dislike Trump, anything is better than what we're looking at.
Yeah. My cat is better.
Yes. Now,
because at least my cat
Your
wouldn't
cat
do
is better.
anything. Like,
I
that's all
love
Joe
that cat.
Biden had to do was nothing.
so there's a lot of talk about DeSantis, who comes from your state. Just curious, what are your thoughts? I see you shaking your head. For those of you that can't see the show but can hear us, she's shaking her head the entire time I'm asking this question, just so you know.
DeSantis is going to stay here in Florida for 4 more years and be my governor, so back off of Trump. It ain't going to happen. DeSantis can run in 28, okay? But for 24,
But you do like him, though.
I want Trump Robinson. I want Mark Robinson to run
Oh,
Lieutenant Governor
Oh,
of
I
North
love him.
Carolina. Mark Robinson is
Oh.
America, okay? He is real
I
black,
love
real
him.
on it. And then
Thank
he
you.
can run
Wow.
and go into presidency. Like, I want Trump Robinson. I want Robinson DeSantis. I want DeSantis. I don't know. That's what I want.
That man is absolutely fantastic.
Mark
I totally
Robinson
agree with that.
is
I
my
love him.
new guy. Like, I am on him.
We just became friends because
he is
oh, I
good.
love him. Love him. He's so
Love
cool.
Mark Robinson.
Yeah, I
Mark
love him.
Robinson, if you're listening, Trump Robinson 24.
Okay,
He's
and
so real. He's so real. Is he
He's
not?
so real. He would be a great
Oh, I love
VP.
him.
okay, so everybody go do your research on Mark Robinson.
Robinson, Lieutenant Governor.
Oh,
He's running
man.
for governor right now in North Carolina.
There you go.
I love him.
I'm going to start something.
I love
Just
him.
watch.
Okay.
I'm going to call down to Mar-a-Lago.
Bumper sticker
Yeah,
for him.
Trump,
Mark-
Lee Robinson. Tell me what
Mark- Mark Robinson, so real.
He's
so
so
real.
good.
Perfect.
I love this man.
Yep. Oh, it's fantastic.
I would totally get behind him.
You just got me. You just got me excited.
Yeah. DeSantis run together. That means Trump has to move back to New York or New Jersey, and he don't want to move back to New York and New Jersey. I promise you, he likes it here.
Imagine why.
Nope, it's y'all.
I know he does.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I can't. There's just something about being in the Southeast. Like, I just appreciate this area. Like, I don't feel like I could really live anywhere else.
I'm the same way with Florida.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay.
Did you always live in Florida?
It's always good to
No,
like
my
where
dad's
you
in
live.
the military, so I traveled all over the place. I've been to like 49 states and 4 countries. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, Florida's where we landed, and thank God this is where we stay.
And does your dad's service I've talked to you about this before personally, but how does your dad's service curve your viewpoint on the military and American patriotism?
Well, of course it affected me. I mean, it's not just he who serves. My mom and I served too, because we were
Yes.
with him being dragged all over God's creation. You know?
Amen.
But
Good
yeah,
job.
of course there's more patriotism when you grow up that way. It's influential, of course, and he was a badass. He did special operations. If you ever watch Black Hawk Down, that's my dad's guys.
Oh, cool.
And I think that there is something to be said for the families of military members, because I'm in that boat as well. And it's very personal when you think of our military.
You
And
get more than one day.
Yes.
yes,
Totally agree. Totally
And-
agree.
I think that it's kind of crazy when you look at some people who are so against the military. You know, they're so completely, but they feel like the military job is a job, you know, but I'm like, that is not a job. That is a lifestyle. That is
Passion.
yeah, I mean, it is a very big deal.
You sacrifice a lot when you enroll to protect your country.
Yes.
And it's
Enlisting.
a choice. You know, other
you go in-
countries,
if you-
there's not a choice. You enroll, period. This country,
Yeah.
you have a choice.
Yeah.
And they should be treated better.
It's called passion.
I have the utmost respect for people who actually join the military to attain citizenship, you know? So like those people, I have so much respect for them because they knew what they were signing up for, you know, like they didn't want to join the military somewhere else. They wanted citizenship and working and signing away all of their rights and their person
Yeah.
for a period of time granted them their citizenship. So I think that there's something really to be said for the magnitude of what being around the military can do for you. And I know that Mel, you know, has family members that are, and it's just, as we have just passed Memorial Day, it really just makes me happy to talk to somebody else who loves and appreciates our military, even when those in charge of the military and both houses below that are acting a fool
Yeah.
Yeah.
and wilding out.
We're going to have a great patriotic summer.
Hope so.
Right.
Well, we have Flag Day and Trump's birthday next week. And then we have 4th of July. So, you know, and we know who the rainbow belongs to.
That is true.
Birthday a few days ago, so happy belated birthday again.
Thank
Yes,
you.
happy belated.
Thank you.
Back to 21,
28
right?
again.
I said it to her. I said it to her on her birthday, so there's nothing belated with me. 29 and holding, right?
We'll get you a gold sticker, Mark.
Thank you.
I get you a gold
Hey,
sticker.
I remembered.
How come you don't do Instagram lives?
I did one this morning.
It wasn't really a live though.
I was too embarrassed to watch. I was too embarrassed to watch. I actually got off it. I didn't think it was real.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Michelle.
I don't do live very often, and when I used to do them on my main account, they kind of like stopped me from doing them. So I was like, whatever, metaverse, whatever.
Well, I know the reaction when you came live with me was so positive. You know, everybody was like very excited to hear from you. And I had a blast talking to you, much like I have today. You know, it's always a good time. And I think that that is one of the draws to the Enemy Me Minute is that you are so personable in the minute. You know, you're exactly the same, you know, as you sit here and as you are. Do what?
Like Trump, we're Geminis. We are who we are. There's no
There you go.
and lies. I ain't got time to remember the lies I tell, so I'm just going to tell you the truth no matter how brutal it is.
Agreed.
You know?
That's a good way to stay out of trouble.
I think
If
so.
you're always telling the truth, you can't get in trouble,
I don't
right?
want to be in trouble, so I'm just going to tell you the dirty.
No, that's right. I noticed that when we were setting up for the show today, that you have several, or not really, you have a few tattoos.
I have
they speak
several.
ones with like phrases or lettering. Okay, so tell us what a couple of your ones that have phrases or quotes or whatnot. I'd like to hear.
I have
what
the
on
all
your
you
body,
need
I
is
guess.
love.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is listen, because I needed to remind myself that I have one mouth and two ears for a reason. And this is a Bible verse: above all, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. I have my dog's paw print here. I have Shakespeare, to thine own self be true. I have Joseph Campbell here is the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek, which is a way of saying be fearless. And then I have Buddha over here that says, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate your mind on the present moment. And then I have a few other ones all around, but yeah.
I love tattoos that have meaning. I would never get a tattoo that
No, I
meaning,
never got
so
one without
that's why I
it
want to
meaning
know.
something. So all of mine, they mean something. And my
I mean, look at the long quotes that she has on her back, and she still knows what they say. You can't read back there. It's not like she gets a common reminder. Like, she knows those quotes, y'all.
Yeah.
They mattered to her.
They matter.
That's right.
Truth matters.
Matters. Agreed. That's what we fall.
Also, I have a question since you brought up Buddha and religion. What do you believe in?
I was raised in the Catholic Church. I chose when I became an adult to kind of just do my own thing and realize that I don't need to go into a man-made building to worship the Lord. Like, I see God everywhere I go. He's with me. I talk to him in the shower. I talk to him when I'm walking the beach. And that's when I get my time in with him. And I mean, I must say thank you, baby Jesus, 10, 20 times a day. Because anything that, if my food is good, I'm like, thank you, baby Jesus. Like everything is thank you, baby Jesus all day long. Thank you, baby Jesus. And I know he wasn't a baby, but that's how I like to think, It's just fun to say, thank you, baby Jesus. And it's just me being grateful and know that everything I have is through him. And God has covered me and my family in his grace through these past 2 years. And really through my whole life, we've been covered in grace. And so I just am grateful and I thank him for making it possible in my life.
I have a question, Mimi.
Yeah.
Have you seen Talladega Nights? Because that's where the baby Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Ricky Bobby.
I love that. I saw that. I was like, oh my God. I thought it was just a Southern thing, but I guess it caught on.
Yeah. So if you ever
I say thank you all the
saw that
time,
movie.
and it works, and I have more things to be thankful for.
agreed.
Appreciates you talking to him as though he's your father, because he is your father.
Oh, he is.
So when you talk to God, when you're passionate about what you say to him, he actually appreciates that. When you have a nice day out, you thank him for the beautiful day.
David Harris Jr.
Yeah.
He's been at a lot of events that I've been at, and that's a good man right there, y'all. David is a good man. He is a good husband. He's a good father.
Oh yeah, totally.
And he wasn't always, but he
great.
found his papa, and that's what he calls God, is his papa. And it's true. Like, that is our heavenly Father. We all come from him. So there is no black or white or gray or yellow or red. There is one human race. And we need to get away from the pigment in our skin and look inside towards the heart and soul of man.
Yep.
Yep.
Totally
I totally
agree.
agree with you. Say, Michelle.
I said, that's my preaching for today.
Good. I love it.
All right. Well, since we typically close in a Bible verse, I guess that's probably a good place to call it. But no, seriously, this has been really fun, and I've really enjoyed getting to see you and talk to you like this in this little group setting, and I hope that you've enjoyed yourself as well.
I have had a lot of fun. I could talk to you for more.
I know.
We did have fun.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Yes, we got to know a little bit more about you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And everybody make sure to go on Instagram and follow Ina Mimi.
I am on Instagram, Rumble, Truth and Gitter at Fancy Mimi, FANCIMIMI. And you can look for my hashtag in a Mimi Minute. Thank you.
So, thank you guys for listening to us on this podcast and view and seeing us. You can catch us on Instagram and Twitter, iTunes, Spotify, Rumble, Amazon Music, Audible, and Anchor.
And a big thank you one more time to Michelle or Mimi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mimi. It was so much fun.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you so much, you guys.